What's going on, guys? Chris here, and welcome to the series where I slowly lose my sanity by creating giant Lego Cites, pop culture recreations of one-man custom inside a Lego Fortnite that's straight utter chaos. If you've seen my Lego Batman shorts or anything from that series, you probably get what I'm saying about chaos. I'm gonna buy your top! Yeah, anyway, today we're tackling a very interesting build to help like crippling FNAF addiction. I don't know why it says helps, it's gonna make it only worse. But today we're tackling FNAF Help Wanted or FNAF VR. Any name works for it. And this build is actually going to be very interesting because normally I would like to tackle the main lobby of the build, which, as you know, the main lobby of FNAF Help Wanted is actually based on FNAF 1. So to make it a bit more interesting, we're going to be adding different mini games into the build and different locations from Help Wanted in general. But before I even say this, we're not going to be tackling any builds from FNAF 2, 3, or 4, as we already made those builds in the past. Instead, we're going to be focusing on the unique Help Wanted minigames, such as Parts of Service and the Innard/Mega minigame. Outside of Help Wanted's main core game mode, we're actually going to be focusing on Curse of Dreadbear and Princess Quest, which, as you see on screen right now, I do have a concept art that I made on Instagram a few weeks, earlier in the week, to kind of demonstrate the idea here. And as you see, it's right next to the almighty Pikachu temple, which I have been slowly upgrading, which you'll be seeing in the build, as well as we're going to be adding more details from Pokemon, such as the Pokemart that I made in my Sonic video and other Pokemon houses, if we can, to make this whole island fully complete by the end of today's video. And we have to focus on trying to get everything in without hitting the maximum complexity limit, which inside Lego Fortnite is such a hard challenge, but I think we can do this. Is how simple this build actually is. As for builds like this, I like utilizing different things such as reference images and, of course, concept art, such as you see here. And we actually played Help Wanted in the past, specifically the press Chris back in 2022. Look at that fool. So emo. God. So we're going to be using multiple footage from that, and then of course reference images I can find on Google to recreate all this whole entire pizzeria. And of course, as I said before, it's mostly just FNAF 1, which we have done multiple times in the past, and for the other unique Curse of Dreadbear elements and then Princess Quest, I will be having to use different footage, which I'll be linking credits down in the comments below. Even though I might not be using footage, I like crediting where I grab the reference footage I use for these builds. So if you're interested in what footage I use for videos, definitely look down in the description below. So with that being said, let's just jump in with just how we're going to construct the build in general. So in the past, I've encountered making Freddy Fazbears in many different ways. One of the main things that do change a lot is actually the interior walls. For example, when I first recreated FNAF 1 back in 2024, I used these walls from the Dreadbear gallery, but with my more recent recreations when it comes to FNAF locations, I've been pivoting towards the Daily Bugle walls. But for today's video, we're going to do something a bit more detailed to make it more accurate to the games. More specifically, we're going to be using the Oni Stronghold gallery, and going all the way down here, we can find ourselves this cool little technique by using this wall here with the half walls, and then going ahead and grab ourselves this wall here, and then we go and grab ourselves a thruster, so we can perform the thruster trick right about here. We want to make sure it's flush with the floor, then go over to the almighty Dreadbear. Where is Dreadbear? I am losing my mind. And over here, you'll find yourself the wall to make it like that. Then you switch planes to make it flush with the wall here. Then raise it up like so. Then push it out the one, and then bingo, bango, you've got yourselves the grand wall, which I must say looks absolutely fabulous. And then, as usual, we'll be using the Dreadbear flooring for the interior wall bit, which, yeah, it looks absolutely amazing. And I just realized I said a little bit. That was intentional, I promise. Unintentional, I promise. But with that being said, that's pretty much just for one, the main stuff that is changing with this build outside my normal creations. But the only other thing that I do want to mention in this segment is how I'm making the Dreadbear biome, as there's one building piece that's brand new that I think might be helpful to you guys, as it does actually just include a free kit, which is the log cabin kit, which is custom dead trees. So what we're going to be doing here is going to be grabbing a wall piece here, going this, and doing that. Now this wall trick is going to be really simple, as it does not really, it's not that detailed, if I'm being brutally honest. You could go way more detailed with this using fences, but this is a trick that I'm using that takes very much advantage over the fact that we can switch planes since last year. And I'm so glad that Epic got this, because God, it lets me do some crazy crap like this. Dude, look at this, look at this, look at this. We can create amazing looking trees inside of Lego Fortnite, and yeah, like I don't have much to say besides like, dude, look at this, look at this. Just, seriously, just look at this, look at this tree that I just broke. That looks cool, right? Yeah, I bet you love this. Seriously, you have a tree design. Very simple. And with that being said, everything else that I'm doing for the video is not really an exact design that I can just like replicate and show you guys. So I think it's about time that we jump into a sick lovely time lapse. So jumping straight into things, one of the things I do want to discuss is the fact that this is mostly just Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, as I didn't really have much footage of Curse of Dreadbear or Princess Quest, as I was just focusing on getting the whole build wrapped up, as it's taken 5 days to complete this whole build, and did not take 5 days fully. I've honestly lost track of how much hours this build has taken, but overall, I'm really proud of where the project has came, and I just want to talk about the thing that you're seeing on the screen right now. So the interior for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, as I mentioned in the start video, is very much inspired by FNAF 1, with a few help wanted rooms attached to it. And I must say, the addition to the interior change was definitely worth it, as this is my favorite version of FNAF 1 I've ever done, and the location itself looks absolutely wonderful. All the additions I made, everything to it, just, I don't know, it just screams to me. I love it so much. I was very much nervous about this build, but it was so worth it. And in fact, the interior looks so good, so when I reached the exterior, this happened. In typical situations, I would probably throw a patch trick where I just move the entire build. In fact, this actually happened with the Sonic Green Hill Zone project I made over a month ago, and for this build, I was considering it. However, during this period of time, I did just spend 3 hours finishing the interior, and as I mentioned before, I was in love with this design. I did not want to break it all down and rebuild it somewhere else, as who knows, I would have that same flair in a different location. So instead, I just thought I would use the exclusive maneuvers of Glitchtrap's whole personality to make a glitchy, messed up exterior. The perfectionist in me was crying during this process, I swear. However, I think it worked out really well in the end, and I did actually make a mountain at the bottom of it, which I do have a screenshot here of, which I must say looks absolutely wonderful. Besides that, as I mentioned before, I don't really have much footage of the rest of the process of making the build, besides this, which is a little pixel art paint of how I created the Shadow Bunny sprite for what you'll be seeing later on in the video for the Princess Quest section, which I did not really want to use the full original sprite from the mobile port of Help Wanted, as the sprite is honestly massive. If you haven't checked out my tutorial video for how to make sprites inside Lego Fortnite, I definitely recommend it, as for me, I think the safe zone to make sprites is around 8-bit to around 50 bits. Anything larger than that is probably way too big, and then you have to worry about memory concerns, which is a whole deal as you just seen. But what I've seen on screen was something that I just threw together really quickly, but I really love. I am a huge geek for making pixel art. I love making my own sprites for videos and just projects in general. I don't know, the pixel art is like a form of art that I just love a lot, and it's just a lot of fun putting together my own sprites. And what you see here in the video, just like when you see it, it looks amazing. I love it so freaking much. And with that being said, that pretty much concludes the whole time-lapse section of this video, and let's just jump straight into the tour. Oh my god, this looks so good. I'm waiting for all of this to load in, so I can get like a proper view of everything, but like, dude. Oh my god, it's turning night as well. Or not. That's a perfect start. Welcome! So the build is fully finished after spending who knows how long on it. As you see, everything is still slowly loading. That's just what happens when you have so much builds next to each other inside Lego Fortnite. But yeah, as we go over to the almighty Pikachu Temple, I just want to say this build has been an absolute blast to put together. I've loved it so freaking much. There was a lot of challenges with this one, but I think the challenges just led to some creative ways and to get out of it. And this is my first time seeing the Curse of Dreadbear section from far out, and got it. It looks so good. It looks so good, but we'll get to that in a minute. Of course, the main attraction here is FNAF 6. We're going to start off with the pizzeria and then move over to Curse of Dreadbear. As I mentioned in the time-lapse from a minute ago, we have the whole mountain here, which looks absolutely wonderful. There's a part of the mountain that is non-existent, and there's a good reason to that, as there's to stop my little plans and schemes. But going into the main pizzeria, I just want to talk here. I just want to give a better view of the glitchiness of this whole structure. But going into it, you definitely see the change here of the front, which is a little mixture of Glitchtrap poking through, which is pretty cool if you ask me. But going inside the main structure, which I've been talking a lot about on the time-lapse and main footage, we have the main pizzeria, which, god, dude, this looks amazing. As you see here, we have the reception room, which looks really cool. You have some seats, and then you go over to the main pizzeria room, the main showroom room, where you have the stage where you would normally go to your select screen here. And then you have the room over here, which I made purposely dark as a reference to where Glitchtrap normally is, as you see in the footage at the start of the video from Depression Chris. Like, seriously, just look at this. You got all the restrooms over here, and then you have the prize corner over here as well, which looks really cool. You got all these cool prizes right here. And one of my favorite tricks that I did was using the thruster trick to make the floor piece go sideways. So you have this cool, like, little wall design, which it works so well. Going this way, you have the halls, which lead to the almighty office, which pretty much the same design from my last recreation of FNAF 1, besides the posters being changed out for Krusty the Clown and a few other things. That's like really the only difference with how the desk setup is. And then, of course, something else I do want to mention here as we go for the video is that there are hidden tapes. In fact, there is 16 tapes as a reference to Help Wanted, the summon Glitchtrap. And just let me know if you can spot them all down in the comments below. Let's get some engagement here. Let's go, guys. But speaking of tapes, we have the actual tape room, which is in here. It's not lit up that well, but that's kind of the point, as the room in the game was a fully dark void. Ugh, very scary. Going this way, though, we have more stuff to be seen, like this iconic area over here, which is a Mango reference. This is the Vent Repair Minigame, which you can see here. Really cool. Absolutely love putting this one together. All the things you have to make this thing work, all in the view of your glazing eyes. Over here we got Pirate's Cove, and of course Parts in Service, which has the two mini games from both Freddy and Bonnie. I believe, if I remember correctly, this is Bonnie's section, and over here is Freddy's section, which you got right about here. There's a lot of detail for Freddy. Oh my god. I was gonna try to include like Foxy in here too, but there was just not a lot of space. But going out here, I do want to mention that. Well, give me a second. How is this glitch still in the game? With like the sign. If you okay, just give me a second. Give me a second. How is this still in the game? I'm actually shocked. It's been in the game since it's supposed to look like this, but it's been like glitched since it first released back like last year. I'm shocked. Wow, that threw me off. Like I just noticed that. I was like, what? But going this way, we have the cool design here as I mentioned before, which once again I do want to mention. I love this so much. It seems so simple, but it adds a lot to the build, and I love it so freaking much. But going over here, we have some awesome balloons as well, like the balloons design, like something that was like quick that I put together. It looks so absolutely lovely. I love it so much, and once again, the tiny things add so much to the builds and just makes it look so cool. But with that being said, it's pretty much all of FNAF 1 / the main pizzeria area of Help Wanted. So let's just jump all the way to the waters and go over to Curse of Dreadbear. And as you see from, as well, I do want to mention this, that my original concept art for this video did change a lot as a result to the build limit issues, which just happens a lot inside of Lego Fortnite. And it's kind of the beauty of why I like creating concept art for videos, as a lot of times, similar to how a lot of things change inside games, things can change when you create concept art. You never know. Your plans could just go change. You could just have a brand new idea. We have a change thing, like where you want to take it, and it's pretty much the same can be said here with this build, which, oh my god, nighttime view of this area like adds so much. So as you know, inside of Curse of Dreadbear, you'll start here with the thing here where Dreadbear's like gazing down upon you. Cannot add him for obvious reasons, but man, it looks absolutely wonderful. And of course, you got the screen here where the whole text of Curse of Dreadbear would be playing, and you got some other cool stuff going on here, which is the main loading screen. You have this thing here where you select your levels, and you got the haunted mansion over there, which we'll take a visit at in a minute. And of course, you got the thing here, which normally would be a truck, but instead we got a little Star Wars land speeder just right here. Why not? And then you have this little sales stand and a lot of hay bales. Over here you got the plush baby minigame, which looks really cool. I want to recreate this. It was one of my main things I want to add to this map. And over here you have the area inside of Curse of Dreadbear, which is like the victory screen, which, yeah, looks really cool. A lot of fun putting this together, and a lots of clown pictures as a reference to that one Easter egg in the game that can happen. Why does FNAF steal of clowns? Over here, though, we have more stuff to be seen, like the mansion, which the mansion is a combination of free minigames. And I'll give you guys a fun fact about this whole map, is originally I was going to try and include Grim Foxy, which technically Grim Foxy is included in this build, but not at the scale I was originally going for, as originally I was going to do a whole one-to-one recreation of the Grim Foxy maze, but that was way too massive for what we're going for in scale and looked totally off. So instead, I decided to opt with the mansion minigame, which is of course trick and treat, and of course add the Dreadbear operation minigame and other elements too. And the reason why this area looks a bit barren is because, well, I feel like we don't need to really explain that anymore. As you know, I'm very detail-oriented, and I would go cuckoo over details if I could. But going inside, we have a slight recreation of the Trick or Treat minigame. It's very hard to find reference images for this whole section. It really is. But I did my best with what I could work with, and I really liked it. And of course, the Dreadbear operation minigame is over here as well, which looks really cool. Not a lot going on over here, but yeah, really cool, really nice. It was a lot of fun putting that one together. And then going this way, you find yourself the Build-A-Mangle minigame, which is a bit scuffed. I have to admit, it is a bit scuffed, but I think I created something really cool. I like it. It's really nice, and I really like how it turned out in the end. But going this way, we can go explore the Curse of Dreadbear land a bit more as it turns day here, and we see a bit more of the little details goes around, such as the path, which looks really cool. And some other details that I do want to talk about is originally I was going to include the Help Wanted 2 minigame with Righty, is that his name, or the lefty counterpart that they added in Help Wanted 2. That was originally going to go here, but I didn't want to crowd the whole area too much of structures, so I decided just to have a giant forest of the trees that I mentioned earlier in the video, which I must say looks absolutely wonderful. Like, when you have a bunch of these custom-made trees, they look so good. Like, seriously, I love how they turned out. But as you see here, we have a giant freaking mountain, which you can only guess what that's hiding. Let me know what you think. I'll give you 10 seconds as the game loads. That's way less than 10 seconds, but it's Princess Quest. The Princess Quest is right here. And originally, this whole thing was going to be a castle. I don't have actual gameplay of this, but it was going to be a huge castle, but I was not really vibing with how it was looking, as it felt so off to everything else that was going on in this little horror Halloween vibe area. So instead, I decided to opt for something a bit more, just normal. So the castle bit of the wall is still here, but I wanted to add a mountain, as I felt like it just fit better with everything else going on, and it just looks way better in my opinion. But going here, we have the storage of Princess Quest from Help Wanted Mobile, and you enter to the second room of Help Wanted Mobile, which actually before we start, I don't want to go here and just say, I'm going to clear my inventory as we're going to start off our journey as appropriately as we can by grabbing the wooden sword. And before we do go forward in Curse of Dreadbear Land and Princess Quest, I do want to bring up the fact that we can grab our little dagger, and we can skip all the way to Princess Quest free from Security Breach by going to this room, which, is actually Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Why? Because, I don't know, that's what Princess Quest free was. And then he goes to this other room, which, oh yeah, this is Grim Foxy. This is a whole area that's in reference to Grim Foxy. Not the scale that was originally intending, but hey, this is your Grim Foxy representation in this map. Going forward, though, we can actually find ourselves some more locations, like the incredible, the amazing, and digital... No, I was going to say amazing and digital circus. This is not a circus. But going over here, we actually have the main entrance room, which I tried to make this as accurate as I could to the games. As you got the second room here, which you find inside of Princess Quest, which you have the giant gaping hole. And then you go all the way here to the Princess Quest 2 in the beginning. You find a bunch of this stuff going on, and you have this little water section right here, which is really nice. This whole section was very simple to put together, because it is just more of a pixel art-like area. But of course, you have this bridge here. This is also from Princess Quest 2, with the purple lights, and of course it's going over here in the void, trying to take over the whole world, which is also very scary. But over here we have a purple door, which we can enter and face our worst fears. Hey, I wonder what could possibly be in here. Nothing much, if I ask me. Oh my god! Yeah, it's the speed paint of the Shadow Bonnie from... God, I seriously... I made this yesterday, and... Oh my god, I loved how it turned out, because I was worried, and it looks so good. I love it so freaking much. He's right behind me, isn't he? It works out so well, scale and everything, especially at night. I do have a screenshot of how it looked at night. It's very much more vague at night, but having everything just finished like this, God, Glitchtrap looks so freaking cool to the point that but yeah, that's basically the whole entire build, and I hope you guys did enjoy this video, as it's very much a different format from what I normally take the series with, but it's where I'm wanting to take the series in the future.
and I really hope you guys enjoyed. As for me, it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to edit all the video together tomorrow. It's currently midnight. I apologize for my poor vocabulary. So, with that being said, I want to say I really hope you guys did enjoy this one. And if you did, definitely consider leaving a like and definitely telling me what you really liked about this build. What was your favorite part? What was your favorite segment? And let me know overall what you think, as I'd be very much looking down in the comments to see what you guys think, as I'm very curious to see you guys' opinions. And if you're new here and you really like what you're seeing so far, definitely consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on more Lego Fortnite content just like this. And speaking of which, I do have plans for what the next LEGO City video is going to be. Originally, I was going to do a whole fancy teaser. I was going to go like, wah, hoo, woohoo! And it was going to be like a whole like Mario 64 reference. And I think that kind of spoiled what I'm planning. Which, yeah, we're doing Mario next. I'm not going to spoil exactly what I'm doing, but it's really exciting. There's going to be a brief gap into videos, because honestly, I am a bit exhausted after spending 5 whole days on this project. And most likely, I'm going to go back to the smaller videos, like Lego Batman and the other Lego Fortnite projects I have for a bit. Like the Quest videos are starting very soon. Who knows, they might have started already, probably the same day as this video releases, so I can keep you guys up to date on the Lego Fortnite stuff. But it's really exciting stuff. It should be out in the next month or two, and I'm really looking forward to starting that very, very soon. So with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this one, and most importantly, that you all have a spectacular day, and I'll see you next time. Peace out, everyone.